Hey everyone. So it's Dominic, and I wanted to answer a few questions about the Free Our People film contest, which I am helping organize through my work for the Center for Disability Rights. The theme of the Free Our People film contest is institutional bias, and a lot of people don't really seem to understand what that is. So I wanted to kind of go through the kind of films that we're looking for. A lot of people were kind of confused about what kind of films they could make, and I think that they're limited in shooting films that are specifically shot at institutions, which is not at all true. Institutional bias is this idea that someone like me who needs home and community based services has a better chance of ending up in a nursing home because that's considered required care under the government, as opposed to the home and community based services I get, which are seen as optional, even though for me it's better to live in the community. With that in mind, if you're making films for the film contest, you can make stories about why it's better for disabled people to live in their homes and live in their communities. Our winner last year actually made a mixed media documentary, which was about people who were living in their community who were at risk of ending up in an institution if they lost their home and community based services. One of the people she interviewed actually lived in an institutional setting, and she talked about how great it was to live in her own home, how she had her own pet, things that she couldn't have at the institution. Like she got to decide when she went to bed, what she had to eat, and things like that. So you could tell stories that are documentary or narrative fiction or animated even that outline community-based living and why it's better for disabled people with a wide range of disabilities. You can also make films at an institutional setting, but it doesn't just have to be a nursing home. It could be a group home or some kind of adult foster care living situation. There are a variety of institutional settings that you could explore in your film. Now, you can also be humorous and use a non traditional setting to represent an institution. We saw that with our second prize winner. It was this narrative fiction comedy that kind of parodied mob life. There were a lot of mob metaphors, and the institutional setting they had clearly did not look like the type of hospital setting we generally equate with nursing homes, but it looked more like a home based setting that you might see in a foster care situation or a group home type setting where you might live in an actual home and have your own bedroom and whatnot. And it worked for that film because it was supposed to be funny, and those little things, those little details, we know that it's not technically a nursing home, but we don't question it because it's a comedy and they can get away with that. So you could also decide to work with someone if you know someone who lives in an institutional setting. Have them talk about their experience with being institutionalized. These are just some examples of the kind of stories you can do. They don't have to be limited to a nursing home setting. So, as long as you're celebrating the fact that home and community based services are often seen as so much better and much preferred by most disabled people, if your film represents that or discusses the obstacles that are standing in disabled people's way of getting out of nursing homes, then that's exactly what we're looking for. At the end of the day, we want these films to show people exactly what institutional bias is and why it is so harmful to those of us who are at risk of being institutionalized. In the description, I will list where you can email me if you have questions. You have until March 31st to submit a film. I really hope that you'll consider making a film for the contest, because the Free Our People Film Contest is really about helping people understand why we still need to be fighting to free our people.